This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock, joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Well, we're going to start with Donald Trump and Kanye West.
Well, that's a good place to start in the modern political culture.
I gotta get your take. Was the actual event in the White House stranger, odder, funnier than the Saturday Night Live skit that was supposedly spoofing it?
I did not see the Saturday Night Live skit, but I cannot imagine that you could spoof what had occurred. Did you see both?
Yes.
I would imagine that there's a great actual similarity. That they're sort of the same.
I think the actual event may have been more peculiar.
Well, in the Sarah Palin interview with Katie Couric, in which Tina Fey played Sarah Palin, they didn't have to write that. They just used Sarah Palin's actual words. You remember that was the funny part, just that she used actual verbiage stated by Sarah Palin, and that would probably be the case in this. It was a bizarre moment. I guess the whole genesis of it, my analysis of that, which you didn't ask for,
I'm asking for it now,
is that Trump was so freaked out that Taylor Swift had trumped him in the culture in which he lives, which is this celebrity political culture, by her Instagram to 112 million followers.
She's got a lot.
Yeah, in which she had made this sort of manifesto for Democrats, and I think he said, I got to get Kanye in here. So he sided. The president sided with the man who interrupted the woman at the awards ceremony, I've got some commentary on that later in the week.
Coming. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll
Thursday, I think.
We'll keep our powder dry.
I forget.
We'll keep our powder dry.
All right.
Let's turn our attention to local politics. Last week, the Little Rock mayor's race, we released our polling data on that. Shows that the race is Warwick Sabin, 22, Baker Kurris, 22, Frank Scott Jr., 18, 3 and 1.5 for Vincent Tolliver and Glenn Schwartz. 33.5% undecided, still in that race with less than a month to go. Are you surprised by that number?
No, I live on a very politically active street. People know what they are and what they think. And last night I got a text about three of them were gathered around watching the Chiefs and the Patriots, and they were trying to figure out what in the world to do in this mayor's race. And did I have a minute to walk up the alley and talk about it? And I said, no, I don't. I've thought about it enough. Plus, you know, it's raining. I'm not going to walk up the alley. Even politically active people involved in public and civic pursuits, as these three gentlemen are, no. They thought Sabin, and now they're reconsidering. They thought Kurris, and now they're reconsidering. What about Scott? I think that's going all over the city. I had no idea, because this is such a new kind of race, what your numbers would show. But I was very interested. But once I see them, I say, well, yeah, exactly.
It felt just right.
Just right.
That was exactly my gut
22,
takeaway
18. Too. That's largely in the margin of error. It's a three-way dead heat. Frank Scott is leading to the extent there's decision among African Americans. Warwick Sabin among younger liberal people. Baker Kurris among sort of older and West Little Rock conservative types. And there you are. And how's it going to turn out?
I do think there'll be a runoff.
You think?
But I don't know who the two of the three will be in the runoff. That's my
There is a conventional wisdom developing among people who claim to know about these things. And how they could know about this, I don't know exactly, because we've never endured it before, that the likeliest of the three to get close to 40, if anyone does, would be Frank Scott, if he has the base of African American support, and say it turns out heavily in the congressional race. He might actually lead the ticket. But the conventional wisdom further is that in a lesser attended runoff 3 weeks later, whoever could get in the runoff with him, whether it be Tucker, whether it be Sabin or Kurris, would likely win. So,
it's terribly
confusing. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to see. I have, in fact, grudgingly made up my mind and have a semi-endorsement column coming later in the week.
A semi-endorsement column.
It's a leaning column. I want to give myself some opportunity to.
You've been in the 33.5% undecided.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to be in the 33.5% undecided even after I vote. But you got to make a decision, and I've actually had readers say, you know, you're talking to them all the time, and I am. I know the three guys. I'm following all this. What do you think? So I'm telling them what I tentatively think.
Gotcha.
We can't go wrong with any of the three, but you might go more right with one of the three.
I could see the final results on election night being similar to, I think it was the 78 Senate race when you had David Pryor, Jim Guy Tucker, and Ray Thornton.
They were all essentially
2 percentage points separated first and third.
They're all essentially at 33. Pryor was a little more above 33, and Thornton was a little less than 33, and Tucker between them. They split it. We had a race like that in this spring for the Arkansas Supreme Court in Pulaski County.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at that, Courtney Goodson, I forget who, Hickson, and
David Sterling.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, in Pulaski County, they were basically a third, and a third, with just a smidgen of votes separating them. Stands to reason that's how this will go.
Yeah. I'd be curious. All right, it was debate week last week at AETN. There was the second congressional district debate is where we will begin. There was a topic that did not get mentioned that you and I both felt should have been mentioned prominently in that debate, healthcare. But let's talk about where you think the second congressional debate is, second congressional district race is right now. Did anything change after last week?
From the debate?
From the week before the debate to the week after the debate?
Nothing changed from the debate other than French Hill managed to skate by insulated by the failure of the panel to ask a relevant question. That aside.
Could that have changed anything though? If
I don't know. Not enough
people
people watch those, and the argument among one or two of the panelists, whom we all know, is that they're just going to go fall on their talking points. Well, they're always going to fall back to their talking points. But what you try to do, I believe, is try to fashion some way to maybe urge them a little off, to rephrase the questions. But health care is the big issue for the Democrat. It's the big thing that Hill has potential vulnerability on, and I thought they should have tried. Did anything change last week? Maybe. I'm telling you, there is an attack ad on Hill, on the air, sponsored by the DCCC. Mm-hmm. I'm told it's in the vicinity of $400,000.
It's a little less than that.
A little less?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That the DCCC looked at this race and decided to part with that sum of money, not insignificant, not great, but not insignificant, to go after Hill. And that Hill is out here walking door to door in North Little Rock, as I heard last week, and running attack ads on Tucker. I think there's some indication among the candidates, the campaigns, the parties, that the race might be closer than our 49.5 to 40.5. I see something, there's some reason that everybody is running hot and running scared. Do you sense that somebody thinks there's more at play here than
and I think it's because of the national landscape, and the Kavanaugh hearing, I think, really ginned up both sides' bases and put a lot of money, particularly in the Democrats' coffers, and I think that they expanded their House map nationwide.
You think the backlash against the Kavanaugh thing on the Democratic side gave the Democrats more money than they had previously had budgeted, and they decided to put some of it here to see if?
I'm told from some of my Washington sources that the map broadened quite a bit over that 2 to 3 week period, that it went from maybe 30 to 40 seats to as many as 80 seats.
I think it has to get to about 80 for this one, because this is not one of the closer ones.
Agreed.
This is a district that is built in for the Republicans and a great challenge for the Democrats. I always had people telling me, don't overreact to Roby's 49.5 to 40.5. They always say this about polls, but they may have undersampled the African-American vote. Let's just wait and see. Nobody thought it was a close race, but some people said it may be a little closer than that. And I think at the time you said, I think it'll tighten up, and I think it also will. But I mean, it's a different game than, your question is, did anything change last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, but a bunch of money got into it on the Democratic side, and let's just see.
Well,
closer than what
to tantalize you a little further,
okay,
we will
me.
be in the field this week polling that race one more time before Election Day.
What days?
Later this week.
What days?
Probably Wednesday, Thursday.
When can you sneak me the numbers? And I can tweet them and get your scoop. No, I'm kidding.
We'll have them out next week,
early
next week, because early
and that
voting
will be the
begins.
last early voting. So, and
So
you don't poll after early voting starts.
I'll get it out there right at the very beginning.
Well, I look forward to that, as I know do our many listeners and viewers.
Did the needle move in the governor's race this past week? Some people say Jared Henderson had a pretty good debate performance, but as you said earlier, not a lot of people are watching, and that race has been cooked.
That race is cooked. Yes, Ace Hutchinson is going to be reelected by a handsome margin. Yes, that debate was watched by few, and sadly, the way, don't get me started, but I think the Libertarians ought to have to show some support at the polls before they take up space in these debates and dilute the dialogue between the two real combatants. All of that said, I got a column for tomorrow that says he gonna get beat, okay, but the Democrats have a find in this Jared Henderson. I thought he waxed Hutchinson. I mean, in this debate, I mean, he showed passion, he showed command. He started out a little tense in his opening statement, but then when you get off of that and he just reacted, very, very good on his feet, very strong. And the passion that he brings to it. When he starts talking about poor people and making our state the one that has the highest teacher pay in the region, and on the Medicaid work requirement, which is a favorite issue of mine, is what I'm primarily talking. He got Ace Hutchinson, I thought, in a startling moment, to admit, essentially, if we don't have this work requirement, I can't get these Republican legislators to keep Medicaid expansion at all. I'm trying to save, essentially he's saying, I'm trying to be unfair to a few so I can be fair to more, and that's just the political reality, which is, I paraphrase,
which has been unspoken,
liberal.
But
it's
yes.
been unspoken, but he dang near said it. So it was a worthy dialogue. I wish more people would watch those. I wish there was a different format in which everybody got rebuttal to everybody. And I wish the Libertarians would be required to show something in the polls, or show something in the polls or in the last election before they're there. Not that I'm against Libertarians, not that I'm against broader dialogue, but basically they just insulated incumbents by the format and by the inclusion of the third. But that's what I make of all that.
I'm for you on the format change, because I think there needs to be more dialogue. You and I have talked about this before. I think one of the best debate formats, and we were both participants in it, was in the 2010 U.S. Senate debate between Blanche Lincoln and John Bozeman.
It was your debate, and you included me as a panelist.
That's right. And so as panelists, there were questions that were asked, and there was the ability to ask a follow-up question if you wanted to in the resulting part of that. And then the second half of that debate, if you'll recall, the two candidates got to ask each other questions, and they actually had conversation.
They did.
They asked for clarification. They stated their positions. They restated their position. It was dialogue.
What a rare opportunity this is, and I support AETN, and I think my wife sends them all the money that she can, and that's good. And thank goodness for public television. But these debates are a rare opportunity, and the format is impairing it. And if we'd had three, the Libertarian and the 2010 Senate debate, it wouldn't have been nearly as good. You'd have had three.
We left them out and got protested over
Sure. Well, better to get protested than to have a debate sapped of its energy and its spontaneity and its essence. So, yes, we agree on that. We agree on a couple of things.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
He's John Brummett. He's with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Always good to have him with us. Thank you for starting off our week.
You bet.
All right. Thank you. That's all for today's program. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.